Hello, everybody, hello. Welcome to the Saturday edition of the Tracy Show. Of course, my name is Tracy, as you can see on the screen. Before we get started, there's some bills I have to get paid, and a lot to get to. You see the topic? I'm checking my meter, sorry. Checking my meter. You see the topic, we're going to get right into it. Um, Subscribe to this channel. I am still, for some reason, stuck at 282. I don't know why I'm stuck at 282. I've been stuck at 282 for like the past 3 weeks. I'm really trying to get to 300 before the end of this month. I only need 18 more subscribers to push me over. So if you could help me get over the hump, that would be so great. Subscribing is free. Doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be helping me to reach one of my intermediate goals, which I had 2 years ago, but it seems to be taking way longer than I thought. So please hit that subscribe button. Support me on Patreon. I appreciate all the support I get. I'm looking at my I'm waiting for an email to come in to confirm tonight's show. But support me on Patreon. Patreon support starts at 50 cents a week. That's $2 a month. It helps me to keep my StreamYard paid, helps me to keep my Zoom paid. So please consider supporting if you have $2 a month to spare. I would appreciate any type of support that you would give. Um, Support me on my Rumble channel. This is like the 10th week in a row I have said, please support me on my Rumble channel. All you got to do is follow. Again, I want to get onto Rumble Live, and I can't get there until I get 5 followers. So please go to Rumble and follow. You know what? I'm actually going to check to see if people are following me on Rumble, because like I said, if I got 5 followers, I'm going to try to go on to Rumble this evening, but I'm still thinking I'm struggling um with Rumble, so let's see. I'm just going to look, sorry everybody, but this got me curious, because if I'm at the 5 followers, then that's going to help. And of course, everything is slow. Let me see if I can get her on my phone. Okay, so we're gonna and just okay, let's see. Okay. Okay, so I'll get to the rest of the announcements, but I want to make sure of something really quick. Um, I'm just gonna check my Rumble page. I apologize, guys, for this, but I just want to see if my Rumble page has up anything. Nope, it does not. I'm still at 1 follower. I'm still at 1 follower. How? I need you all to follow me on Rumble, because I want to go live on that platform, but I can't until I get 5 followers, and I'm still stuck for some reason. I'm still stuck at 1. I am still stuck at 1. Why am I still stuck at 1? Why? Just follow me on Rumble, please. And final announcement, I'm also hosting on December the 14th the Destroy the Duopoly Awards. The ballots are ready to go. That is the address right there at the end. It's a Google form, so make sure you're Google compatible. A Google Docs form. be sure to fill it out. I'll talk about that show tonight. Well, I might talk about it at the end, but I'll definitely talk about it tonight. It'll be live December the 14th right here on this channel. So again, the Destroy the Duopoly Awards are coming up December the 14th, 2024 at 6 o'clock p.m. So you see the title of the show. We're going to start it off talking about, of course, the original show, The Brady Bunch. I'm going to talk about the Brady Brides. I'm going to talk about the variety show. I'm going to talk about the cartoon. I'm going to talk about the Brady's the drama. I'm talking about all of it. My problems are all the same with the show. Just problems, right? So, and if you have, hit that like button. I forgot to put that in the comments. Hit that share button. And remember to comment. So hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. Share this podcast. Comment. I appreciate your comments. So let's go. Let's start it off. Got my trusty laptop. And I'm gonna get here. And we're going to start off with this and part my pause because again, YouTube does not like me sharing clips. So I got to be creative. Okay, so we're going to... Oh, and I'm also going to talk about the first Brady Bunch movie. Not the second one, but the first one. Okay, so... Okay, so my first problem comes in with the introduction. That's the first problem I have. I'm going to let you hear the whole thing, and I'm going to break down why I have such a problem with this. So, hopefully this works.
Today and every day at the
Home Depot. Come on. I don't want to see a Home Depot commercial. Let me skip it. I hate this when YouTube has commercials. This is probably why I get taken down. This is that first one.
Here's the story
of a lovely lady who had three very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls. Here's a story of a man named Brady. Yep. Who was busy with 3 boys of his own. Yes, he was. They were 4 men living all together, yet they were all alone. Where they were one day when the lady met this fella, and they knew it was much more than a hunt the Brady Bunch. This group was somewhat of a family. That's the way they all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way they became the Brady Bunch. Okay, problem number 1. So, I get why the mother changed her last name to Brady. Because she's marrying a man, his last name is Brady. What I don't get is why did the 3 girls have to change their last name to Brady? Like, did he legally adopt them? Did he go... I mean, they just took on the name Brady. Like, wasn't that disrespectful to their father? Like, didn't they have a father? I mean, I'm assuming all 3 girls had the same father. Like, they're just gonna disrespect his memory like that and just drop that name like it's a hot piece of coals and just... just don't even care. Just say, "Hey, Brady." Like, oh yeah, father. I'm assuming they were both of them were widows. I'm gonna check that. Okay, so let me see. Um, I think they were. Yeah, I'm sorry to be looking at my phone so much, but now I'm worried. I'm sitting here wondering about things, right? Um, was Carol Brady a widower? Did Carol Brady's husband die? Okay, so they never. Okay, so it says here when I typed it in, the fate of Carol Brady's first husband is never explicitly addressed in the 1970s TV show The Brady Bunch. The show's creator Sherwood Schwartz wanted Carol to be divorced, but the network wanted her to be a widower, and the compromise was to leave the issue unaddressed. However, um, Florence Henderson, who played Carol Brady, has joked about her character's first husband's death. She said, "I killed my husband and I was the original Black Widow." Ha ha ha. So they never address what happened to the first husband. But again, I'm wondering, why did the girls not take, why did they just automatically take um the father's last name? And they called him dad. He's not their dad. He's the boy's dad. And the boys called her mom. She's not their mom. Like, Mrs. Brady was not their mother. What, like, they expect, I know, back in the 70s, divorce was like not like the thing I read said. The TV networks were staying away from divorce, in terms of a topic, but it was happening, right? It would have made a lot of sense. I think this show was on CBS. If they had just relented and said, "Hey, she's divorced or she's a widower," but I guess, like they said, as a compromise, they never addressed it. But I'm still wondering, how did they just drop that name? They never mentioned their father. Because if you watch the very first episode, I think the boys sort of kind of mentioned their mother, not Carol Brady, but the other mother, like their birth mother. And like Mike says a line, and then they just never mention her again. Like, they didn't even let them pay respect to their past parents. I mean, think about the trauma that they experienced. Both children lost parents. So I'm going to make the daughters take my last name, even though technically they are not Brady's. Those daughters are not Brady's at all. They're not Brady's. They just are not. And I want somebody to explain to me why it is. If any step parents are out there, if you're a stepfather specifically, do you let your stepchildren take your last name? Especially if the real father, well, not the real father, I'll say that wrong. The biological father is still in the picture. Do you let your stepchildren call you by your first name? Do they have to call you dad? What is it that they have to do? Because this doesn't make sense. I mean, they were calling him dad, and the boys were calling her mom. Like, nothing out of sorts here. I'm like, no, they're not related. Those kids are not siblings. I mean, the three girls were siblings, the three boys were siblings, but the six of them together were not siblings. They were step siblings. They thought nobody was gonna notice this. They just thought, oh well, we'll just sit here and just not even explain what happened to the parents. Number two problem. Alice, the maid. She lived in a bedroom that was near the kitchen. So I Guest living maids are a thing with a family that's upwardly mobile. But why did she wear a uniform? She wasn't working, like, from what I know about maids. They work for more than one family, right? They aren't living there. She wasn't, well, you know what? She wasn't actually a maid. She was more like she cooked dinner, she cleaned, she sewed. She did everything. Like she was out in these streets, right? She was cooking dinners, she was mowing they even had an episode, I think she was mowing the lawn, feeding the dog. It's like, girl, you ain't got to live there. So, like I said, from what I know about maids, they don't live in the house unless, again, you're talking about an upward mobile family, and I'm talking like in the millions of dollars. And Mr. Brady's income, they were, I guess, middle class, but he wasn't like a millionaire. How did they afford for her to live in that house? She could have had her own apartment, just come there from such time to such a time. But no, she lived right in there. And she wore curlers in her hair and she pinned her hair up. Like, why did she wear rollers to sleep and then she would wake up, take the rollers out, and then pin her hair up? What's the point of putting them rollers in your hair? Like, for what? What were you there for? I mean, I know what she was there for. Because, like I said, I don't know the term, so I'm just going to refer to her as the maid. But she, like I said, she cooked. She sometimes babysat for the kids. She sometimes offered advice to the kids. She was offering advice to the three boys because she was already there when Mrs. Brady got into the family with her three kids. So now they're asking her, hey, we know you got me and these three boys because we're four men and we're living all together. Yet they were all alone. How they gonna be alone and Alice is in the house? She's right there. So technically they weren't alone. Sure, he was probably missing his first wife. Blah blah. But what she she wore that uniform. Like, was this required? Like, was she sitting there thinking, you know what? I don't feel like washing all these clothes. I bet you she washed the clothes. Bet you she washed the clothes too. Because it doesn't make sense to me why she wore the same uniform. She pinned her hair up, yet wore rollers to bed. A roller set. Why? You done went to all that trouble to roll your hair up, and you just gonna pin it up. Okay, makes perfect sense to me. I'll get to Sam the Butcher here in just a moment. What was the income of Mr. Brady? Because see, nobody else worked. Mr. Brady worked and Alice worked. Everybody else, no jobs. Nobody sought to get a job at like the dairy or the ice cream shop or the soda shop or the car lot or nothing. Those are the only two people that worked. Mr. Brady was an architect. Alice was the household maid who had to clean that whole house. Did they make her clean the bathrooms? Because I'm assuming there's like one bathroom in the house, right? I think there's just one bathroom. No, there's two. Because the parents had one. There's at least two bathrooms. Because the parents had their own. They had an ensuite. And then the kids shared one because it was a bathroom in between the boys' room and girls' room. But did Alice have like her own bathroom? Because if not, she would have had to climb all those steps, go to the kids' bathroom because they weren't letting her go into their bathroom. So she would have had to climb all those steps, go to the kids' bathroom. So I'm going to assume she had her own bathroom. Right? So I'm just going to assume it. And I know what they say about people who assume, but oh well. I'm like, did they just, they just literally sat there. She was doing everything. Everything. She was cooking. She was cleaning. She was sewing. She was probably mowing the grass, feeding the dog, folding the laundry, counseling the kids. What was Mrs. Brady there for? She literally did nothing. That's my third point. What was the point of Mrs. Brady? What was she doing? Now, don't start on me about me bad mouthing, because she was a stay-at-home mother, right? So you expect she didn't have like preschool children, so she wasn't taking care of the children. She didn't have to. They went to school. So what was she doing those 8 hours that she was in? The kids were in school. She wasn't cooking. She wasn't cleaning. She wasn't sewing. She wasn't doing laundry. She wasn't offering advice to the kids. What was she there for? What was Mrs. Brady there for? It's like she was just there to give Mike a wife. Why did he just marry Alice? I know age difference, but like technically, Alice took care of the house. Mrs. Brady sat there and did nothing. I guess she was like the pretty face. And don't start on me when I say this. She could have got a job. She could have gotten a job. If she's gonna just sit there. And remember, the kids were not like in kindergarten or something like that. These were like kids that were at least like past kindergarten, past the first grade, past the second grade, past the third grade. They're all going to school, assumingly they all went to the same school, except for when Greg and Marsha went to high school. But essentially, they're in the same either junior high school, grade school, and high school. So they go to school somewhere between like 8 a.m. and maybe 4 p.m. You couldn't have found a job. You couldn't have been like a part-time receptionist. You could have went to where Mike was working and got a part-time job. You're just sitting there. You're not adding nothing. It's not like she sat there and gave like this great advice to the kids or something. Because the kids never went to her. Show me an episode where the kids went to Mrs. Brady for something. They went to two people. Again, they either went to Mike for advice because he's the father, head of family, blah, blah, blah. Or they went to Alice. They never, ever, as what I can remember, they never went to Carol and said, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is what we're going to do. Nope. She was just there. She literally served no point. It's not like she was. And she had her own car. What was she doing the whole day when these kids were out? Like, was she in like the card club, the sewing club? You never saw her sew. You saw her fool around with for some food one time in the whole series of the show. You didn't. What was she doing? Being stay-at-home parents, because some men stay at home to take care of their children. I think that's admirable, but she didn't take care of her kids. Alice did. Alice took care of those kids. She never lifted a finger. I never saw her cook anything. I never saw her do anything. She drove a car one time. Like I said, where was she going these 8 hours a day that the kids were at school? Was she in the PTA? Okay, maybe. Maybe she went to PTA because Mike was busy being an architect. Don't know. So I said I was going to get to Alice and Sam the Butcher. They were dating the whole time the show was on, never got married, and nobody said anything. You know why I'm bringing this up. Alice was the old maid, right? I'm just going to I know she was single because she was dating Sam the Butcher, but I'm just going to assume she didn't have children of her own because they never mentioned it. So I'm just going to go with she didn't have children. So she dates Sam the Butcher. They don't have children. Never married. She never talks about them going to the movies. They went bowling like one time. One time they went bowling. What was Sam the Butcher there for? Did he own the grocery store where he worked at? Did she go pick up supplies from the store that he worked at and went to the meat aisle and said, hey, I need some roast beef, some turkey, some chicken, let's go. What was he there for? And he wasn't in a lot of episodes, thank goodness. But what was he there for? Like, they had him there. I mean, I guess he was a love interest, but besides that bowling date, she never talked about him. She never. I mean, it didn't even make sense. I'm like, okay, he there, but for what reason? Pardon me. Okay, so the next thing I don't understand, um, some of the plots. The plots, they were terrible. I mean, they just were. And I guess this was the looking back. It's like they tried to stay in the 1950s with their plots. Like everything revolved around the kids, right? Marsha getting a football hit at her nose and it's swelling. Jan feeling neglected because she's the middle child. Cindy having a lisp and being made fun of. Greg trying to launch a singing career. Um, the Brady. Wait a minute. Were they called the Brady Six? Yes, the Brady Six. Okay. I know they were trying to do white version Jackson 5. Yeah, I said what I said. But the Brady Six, I gotta play it. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Because I gotta. And I'm gonna do both of them because, okay. But that song, I'm playing this song, period.
That happens a lot, but Safeway could have helped.
Why do they always play a commercial?
So don't let that little chip spoil
I
your
should have
trip.
paid for the YouTube version.
Maybe I can find a rerun of a rerun I haven't seen. How about that, folks? Patty's Prancing Poodle.
I'll explain the plot of this one.
Really registered on the old applause meter, too. Now then, for our final act this morning, we have 6 kids, 3 boys and 3 girls. A match set, you might say. They call themselves the Silver Platters.
The Silver Platters.
Here they are.
Oh, y'all gotta see these matching outfits they got on.
Silver Platters? Is it Brady? Brady! Come quick, the kids are on television. What kids? Yours. His. Ours. Come on, quick. You said they went to a football game. That's what I said. They said.
Why do they look so happy? Woo! Yeah! Woo! And they got the boys on one side and the girls on another. They don't mix it up.
Where did they get those costumes?
What did you do, Mrs. Brady? Oh my. Wow. Wow. Why in the heck? Now the girls don't get their turnaround, but I guess their part is coming up. Wow. All these dance moves. Oh my gosh, I want to link this so bad in the description. Oh my gosh, these dance moves. Wow. Wow. Oh, these dance moves are terrible. Terrible. Oh. Okay. I thought they was called Brady Six. I think that might be the cartoon. But they were called the Silver Platter. So what had happened was Mike and Carol had an anniversary. And they wanted to get them silver platters or something with silver in it. So they called themselves the Silver Platters. They snuck around, did rehearsals, keep on moving, and when it's time to change, although I didn't play that one because that's a way longer song, and I don't feel like hearing Peter say, when it's time to change, all off key. Um, no. So, um, again, I think they had a record. I'm almost certain. So I'm asking everybody watch it because I see people watching. Did the Brady Six slash Silver Platters have a record? Because I know the actor that played Greg was trying to become a singer, and he's put out records of his own, like as a solo artist. Yes, he was a solo artist there for a minute. But I don't know if the six of them together like did a record. And if they did, put in the comment section about what it was called. My memory is fading because I think they put a record out. Yeah, now we'll see. Now I'm finding out. Did the Brady Bunch put out a record? Y'all, they put out a record. Yes, the Brady Bunch recorded several albums on Paramount Records during the original run of the series. The record's phonographic album, the fourth and final studio album, was released in 1973. The original disc labels read Growing Up with the Brady Bunch, and in 1996, the album was re-released with bonus tracks from Chris Knight and Maureen McCormick. So they had Meet the Bradys in 72, the kids from the Brady Bunch in no. Oh, they had two in 72. They had Meet the Brady Bunch in 72 and also the kids from the Brady Bunch in 1972 and Christmas with the Bradys in 1970. The Brady Bunch actors provided their own singing voices. Well, at least they did do their own voices, with session musicians providing backing. However, Florence Henderson and Robert Reed, and probably not Alice either, did not participate in the recordings, are not on the album covers. None of the Brady Bunch's albums or singles were hits on the national charts, but they did three of them. Y'all, they recorded three records. They recorded three records. Ooh, child. Child, child, child. They recorded three records. They recorded three records. They, as actors, like that would be like me recording a record. Like I'm on this show and I play Beverly. Me going in the studio portraying Beverly, I'm really Tracy, but me going through Beverly to sing this song, it they recorded three records. Three records. Are you kidding me? Three records. One, two, three records. Why? It's that it's that show's fault. Or that song that I just played. Next problem with because I gotta move on with the next problem I had with the Brady Bunch. Um Besides that episode where they got kidnapped by Vincent Price, um, that was hilarious. Um And I think they ended up capturing him at the end, or they didn't arrest him at the end. Blah blah blah. So, the next problem I had, and probably everybody has, is Cousin Oliver. So essentially, what had happened was the Brady kids were getting older. This was when, like towards the end, like the last year. So let me backtrack. So Robert Reed had left the show because he was just tired. He just didn't like the way the show was going. For some reason, he was feuding with the Schwartzes, because by this time, son Schwartz had joined father Schwartz, or the Schwartz company. Their production company and Robert Reed were like at odds. So Robert Reed was like, no, I'm not going to tape none of this. He taped like one episode in the last season. And the kids were getting older and they lost their cuteness. Now, personally, I don't think they were ever cute. They were just kids, right? Not ugly, but they lost that, especially Cindy and Bobby, because those were the two younger ones. And Greg was in college, living in the attic. And Marsha and Jan were in high school, but they never showed them in high school. And who the heck knows what happened to Peter, because he was just there and they never did anything with him anyway. Because like that episode, except for when he went through his voice change. But, and pork chops and applesauce episode. But anyway, so Robert Reed had left the show. He was like, I'm out, I'm done. So they were like, hey, what can we do to boost ratings? Because remember, at this time, like when the show ended, Sanford and Son had came on. And that was the first season of Sanford and Son, and it was on at the same time as the Brady Bunch, and it was blowing away the Brady Bunch. I mean, it was like destroying the Brady Bunch. And they were like, what can we do? So they got this idea to bring this child in. Cousin Chili Bowl Haircut Oliver. This little boy is probably the most agitating child actor I have ever seen. This is what started sitcoms, adding children to shows, and it never worked out. It didn't work in Good Times. It didn't work in Hanging with Mr. Cooper. It didn't work on The Cosby Show. It just never works. If your show is going off, do not. This is why Seinfeld was so successful. Do not add a child to the show. Growing Pains adding Chrissy. This kid was ridiculously dumb. This was an unnecessary ad. They could have just rolled off into the sunset, paid Robert Reed a whole bunch of money to come back for the last episode, rolled off into the sunset and said, here we go. But nope. They brought in Chili Bowl Cut Cousin Oliver. Look at his haircut. When you go Google search, right? Go Google search. The little boy had a Chili Bowl haircut, and he wore them big old them big old Coke bottle glasses of his. And he was so annoying. He like, and I care. I think he was like Mike's. I think he was the cousin of the three boys. But of course, because the three girls called Mike Dad, and if you watch it, they never explain where he's at. Oh, no, man, that's it. He was at work, or he had something to do, or he was out of town. Why did they add this child? He added literally nothing. He added nothing. No thing did he add to this show. He was just there. I mean, if they're going to get a kid, and he wasn't like 5 or like, when you get kids in their cute stage, like when they're 2, 3, 4, and 5, this kid was like 8 or 10. Like get if you're going to do this, which again, I say, don't add a child to your show. But get a child that's like I said, either 2, 3, 4, or 5. Or if you birth a baby, Family Ties, don't change the baby to 5 years old the next season. They didn't do that. They just brought in this annoying kid who I don't even know if a plot revolved around him. Nobody who is out here talking about, what the best part of the Brady Bunch when they added Cousin Oliver. Nobody. Nobody says it. Nobody liked him. No, 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 nobody. He was just, like I said, he's unnecessary. And it wasn't that the show was already, you could tell it was on its way out. Like you could tell, like I'll probably do a show like that a little bit. Maybe next week I'll do it. I don't know. But you can tell when a show was about to go off because it's you could literally tell. You can see like, ooh, this ain't the same. The people that got older, and they don't adjust for, like, when a comedy is based around children, they should have based it off of the adults if they were talking about the long run, right? But like I said, you could just watch that last seat if you can stomach watching Cousin Oliver. Just watch that last season, cause it was and I'm getting out because he was so unnecessary. Now here's where my history kind of gets me convoluted because I can't remember, did the Brady Bunch cartoon come before the Brady Brides? But I know there was a Brady Bunch cartoon. I'm pretty sure there was a Brady Bunch cartoon. Yes. And it was called The Brady Kids. Now, I'm going to be honest. I never watched this episode of this cartoon. But I want you to hear the theme song. Boy, YouTube has got everything. And okay, so this was, let me backtrack. So this was before the Brady Bunch because this show was on in 72, 73, and Brady Bunch went off like the year before I was born. So this show was on the year before I was born. It only ran one season. Gee, I wonder why. But this had to be before the Brady Brides because like Marsha and Jan were like full adults. And and they were still like teenagers. Okay. So this show was before the Brady Brides. So got that straight.
Meet three sisters. Now meet their brothers. Greg's a leader and a good man for the job. There's another boy by the name of Peter. The youngest one is Bob. See our sisters, they're all quite pretty. First there's Marsha with her eyes are sparkling blue. Then there's Jen, the middle one who's really groovy. And Sister Cindy too. Let's get set now for action and adventure. As we see things we never saw before. We'll meet Bobtail and Pinion from the Pandas. And Marlin, who has voices by the score. The Brady Kids. The Brady Kids. Here's the world of your friends, the Brady Kids.
Oh, I'm glad I never saw that. I never saw an episode of that, and I had forgot about it until I just started the show. I was like, oh yeah, they had the cartoon. But the Brady Brides. Wait a minute. Now this show, again, my memory is foggy because now I know that the cartoon was before the Brady Brides, but now I'm questioning whether the Brady Bunch variety show was before these two. So I'm gonna see because now I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, and the thing about the Brady, like all the reincarnations down the road, like they would get like the original Peter, the original Greg, the original Bobby, but for some reason they can never get the original Marsha or the original Jan or the original Cindy to all three appear on the screen at the same time. They always had some substitute actor playing either Jan or either playing Marcia. It was like and you like, that's not Jan? Why am I looking at this actor playing Jan? Jan is Eva Plum. Eva Plum is Jan. The actor that played Marcia I'm like, wait a minute, that's not Marcia, that's somebody else. And they just act like didn't nobody know. Like, you've established these characters and you gonna just be like, hey, let's just put them in there. Don't know why they didn't, but yeah, they always got the 3 original boys. Always. Sometimes, like, the parents would be in there. Like, Robert Reed, for some reason, had stopped his feud with Robert Schwartz and had came back because I guess that money got tight. And then Florence Henderson. And then Alice was in some of them. But I'm thinking, I don't even know. I don't know. Like I said, I can't remember whether the Brady Bunch Variety Hour, that was the name of the show, came on before the Brady Brides. Because now I know the cartoon was first. I'm just going to assume this is second. The Brady Brides are third. So we're going to just... Yeah, they don't have a theme song. Yep, I'm looking at some of these pictures. I am going to... Okay. I'm trying to find one, y'all, that's... I'm really trying to find one where it's... See, the problem... Okay, so I'll talk about the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. So what they would do is they would sing like songs like that was working in the 70s, right? And they would have like celebrities guest star. Yep, so this is the one. I'll choose this one. We'll choose this one because I can't... They didn't have an introduction.
Well, we've come to the end of another show. We would like to thank the one and only Milton Berle,
the sensational Tina Turner, and our resident funny man, Rip Taylor,
and a lady we all love, Ambi Davis, and our crop set dancers and...
Girl, you not Jan.
Without you, there wouldn't be a Brady Bunch.
Now, Florence Henderson was a accomplished singer. I don't know if she ever recorded an album or not. Probably. Ooh, Robert Reed. Don't you try that. Fake Jan, fake Marshall. Okay, I can't. No. So terrible. Just go to Google or YouTube and type in the Brady Bunch Variety Hour. This episode, I guess, had Tina Turner. Like, how did they even talk celebrities into being on the show? They were like, yep, your career's pretty much washed up. You're going this Brady Variety Hour. That'll do it. And who was watching it? Like, who sat down and said, yep, I'm going to watch these 8 people, because you had with a fake Jan or a fake Marcia, and I'm just going to watch it and watch them sing and destroy songs. I was going to play when they were on the Donnie and Marie show and they were singing Get Ready, Here I Come by the Temptations. But see, I don't nobody does that. You haven't done, even though you won't subscribe to help me get to 300, I'm just going to like not do that to you because you don't deserve that. But I got to talk about the Brady Brides. I got to talk about the Brady Brides. So this one, I know this show. I don't even have to look it up. The Brady Brides, what had happened was Jan was dating this guy named Duncan Hardsworth. I don't know what the man's name was, but they were both scientists and they were engaged to get married. But then Marcia, she meets Wally or the Beeve or whoever the husband's name is, and they're both engaged at the same time. Unbeknownst to each other, they've planned the same wedding day. So they get married in a special called the Brady Brides Get Married or something. Because it was supposed to be like a launch off, right? So they get married to their husbands, right? So Marcia marries Wally or the Beeve or whoever it is. And then Jan marries Duncan Clark, whatever his name is, right? So she marries him. But they can't afford a house, right? So they move into a house together. So you got two couples living in one house. Best part, black kid next door, Alice was the maid. I don't know if I know Florence Henderson was on an episode, but I don't think the father made an episode appearance. I don't think. But here we go with the introduction song.
Watch college football.
Okay, what every one of plus one of these are commercials. I wish I knew how to edit. Philip. Wallace, I got his right. And they got married in the original Brady house. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. Dun. How was Alice the maid though? I'm gonna eventually talk about this one, but I don't want to get to it just yet. Yeah, and they actually had both the original Jan and the original Marcia playing the roles. And that it was like, well, who sat there and thought, you know what we gonna do is we gonna take like all six of them, the original six, not these actors that they just throw in, need to be in the show. There was no Greg, there was no Peter, there was no Bobby. I think Cindy might have made an appearance, but it was like, why we want to watch this? They can't carry a show. They can't carry a show. But the worst offense was the Bradys. Now you sitting here like, well, wait a minute, Tracy, what was the Bradys? You just talked about it. No. CBS brought this mess back, I think. I think CBS did the original. Or ABC. Whatever. So there was a couple of movies that I skipped, like when the Brady's house was gonna be like destroyed, so they picked up the whole house and moved it to somewhere else. And Greg was running for office and cheated on his wife. What is that? I'm not talking about that one because I didn't watch it much, so I can't talk about something I didn't watch. But the Bradys, when you reboot a show, like, you know, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air got rebooted into a drama. It's now called Bel-Air. And they keep some essence of the original characters, like Will. Somehow Uncle Phil is skinny. But they keep essence of the same characters, right? You get that familiarity in the characters. Well, the Bradys decided, you know what? No, we're going to change up everything. I don't think this show had the original Cindy. I think it had the original Jan, but not the original Martian. Like I said, the men children were always in them. Like if they had a movie, it was gonna be original Greg, original Bobby, original Peter. But when it came to those girls, they was like, nah, we gonna just get off of this. Um, so I'm gonna play the same song and tell you why this show was different.
Here's the story of the family Brady. A mom and dad with all their children grown. Our kids are now pursuing their dreams with families of their own.
They got the original Wally, but not.
Their problems all were smaller. As they changed, so did their point of view. The world has taken on a larger meaning since the family grew. The Brady, oh, the Brady. That's how the Brady Bunch became the Brady.
So this terrible show was supposed to follow the Brady Bunch children into like adulthood. Marshall was an alcoholic. Bobby got paralyzed in an accident and like lashes out. It's like, wait a minute. Now, I do know people have substance abuse issues, and I'm definitely not making light of that. But it was like the way they did it in the show was like she had one dream, and now all of a sudden she's jumping up to being a person with substance abuse issues. Like over a course of an episode, this just wasn't good. This was not good at all. Oh my goodness. I don't even no. We don't need to see like I said, Bel Air won't watch it because if I want to watch the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, I'll watch the Fresh Prince of Bel Air with Will Smith, Alfonso Ribeira, the guy that played Uncle Phil, the girl that played Ashley Banks. I don't need you to change from a drama to a comedy or a comedy to a drama. Just don't do that. It didn't work at all. I had so many problems. And it was like, okay, so we're customary to them acting one way as children. And yes, they're adults, and yes, they're going to have adult problems. But they didn't, they just went all out there. They had Bobby like beating his wife, and like Mr. Brady's like, you need to stop doing that. No, you throw him in jail. You should stop. Don't do that. What? You can't solve modern issues like they were trying to address and use this air-filtered 1970s way of solving them, right? Because it doesn't translate. It didn't translate because, we were fine with them as children. We didn't necessarily need to see them as adults. We didn't care. I don't want any of them to do bad because there's only 6 left, right? I don't want them to be like, oh, I'm washed up and I can't do anything because, hey, a check is a check is a check is a check. But they should have thought about this during the writing stage. Like, if you're going to change, like, totally change the show and go from a comedy to a drama, you've got to have the writing that stands up to that. I know the movie tried to introduce it, but the movie was like a comedy, and then they just said, no, we're just going to be a drama. We're just going to be a drama, and that's going to be it. No, you can't. You have to, like, in the movie that you did that was the pilot to the show, had to say, okay, now this is a drama. Now we're going to follow these people as adults. And it was too many. You can't follow that many characters in a drama. I guess not. Yeah, it only lasted 1 season. Gee, I wonder why. Sorry, I had to get that smudge off of my computer. But I had several problems with this. Like I said, you can't just change the trajectory of the show, have it be comedy in the pilot, and then you change over to drama. a person has substance abuse issues after one episode. One episode. She took a sip in one episode. Next episode, she's an alcoholic. Really? It don't. And I've never had substance abuse issues, so maybe I don't know. But I don't think it really works like that. I don't think you just take a sip of something and then the next episode you have like this complete problem. That's something that develops, right? But they should have thought about that. They should have really. And how did they talk Robert Reed into this? It's like I can see why the actors do it because hey, it's a paycheck, right? Because you got to eat, you got to live somewhere. So I'm not gonna sit here and bust their chops for being in this terrible rendition of the Brady Bunch. But like I said, I didn't care to see them as adults. I didn't want to see Jan and Marsha living in a house married with two dudes that I didn't care about with the black kid next to. I didn't care. Just give me the 6 with Alice and the parents, and I'm cool. I'm done. You don't have to do all of that. Lastly, I want to talk about the movie. I watched the first Brady Bunch movie. Really, really loved it. Thought it was really good. They did a really good job. The reason I liked it, and I know I said I had problems with the Brady Bunch, but I had no problems with the movie because it was a sense of nostalgia. I like the fact that they kept the 70s vibe and put them in modern times. I really, really loved that, how they were just totally clueless about what was going on. It was really good, so you should watch it. I thought I'd briefly talk about the movie because I realized I'm at an hour, so I must have had a whole lot of problems with this show growing up that I didn't even realize. That's what happens. I'll say, oh, I have these little problems, and then it'll just turn into this long rant about something else. But it's time to come to an end. Remember, I'm going to beg one more time. Y'all follow me on Rumble. Please follow me on Rumble. I need 4 more followers so I can start podcasting live on Rumble. That's what I want to do. I may move a show to Rumble. Don't be surprised when I come on here. I'm trying to get this smudge off of my computer. Sorry. I say, oh, such and such show is moving to Rumble so that you can watch it. But I can't do that until I get my 4 more followers. So remember to follow me on Rumble. Remember to subscribe. Support me on Patreon. Remember to like this video. Hit that thumbs up. Share this video. Comment on this video. And remember, the Destroy the Duopoly Awards are December the 14th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Live on this channel. We're going to have a lot of fun. Fill out your ballot. I'll talk about that tonight when I go on my other show. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to do the outro, and I'll see you at 7.